My name's Liam. I am one of the host brothers here. I'm here with a good friend, Christopher Bell, founder of the Haste Club. Christopher, you've had a wild day. I want you to sit back, relax, and enjoy yourself. How are you getting on, my guy?
Much, much better now. Finally home, finally through the traffic, finally sitting back here in the peace of a beautiful view here. It's a lot better being home. But, another day, man. Can't complain. I will say I can complain about the fact that I've not seen anything in the markets today. Uh, Guys, I know I've got a lot of messages. Sorry I have not responded. I'll get to them when I get off here. Odds are we're going to probably cover some of it anyway, but as always, thanks. You guys always send me the best info. Long day at work, so I didn't have a chance to look at it. But if that's the worst part of my day, I'm having a good day, right? I mean, I'm home, I'm happy. Get to hang out with my good buddy Liam and sit back and talk some Rocket Lab.
Oh, thank you for that, mate. And I want to give a quick shout out to Francisco Ramirez and Mark Box. A lot of the articles today are coming through them. So a big shout out, guys. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to upset Chris a little bit at the start, and then we will get
Go
into
into the
good stuff.
numbers.
We're going through
Yeah,
the
go
numbers.
into the numbers. Yep. That's all good, man. Actually, I want to hear this because I didn't see anything today. As much as I
So,
joke about it, I do check the numbers out. But yeah, I want to hear this. Thank you.
yeah, so today we did pull back a little bit, 4%. Whole market seems to have pulled back. We will sort of get into that in a minute. Look, still over the 5 days, we are up a solid 2.6%. I do like to see slow, steady, solid growth. Sometimes over the short term, we love to see these big pumps, but do you know what? Slow, steady growth is all we need to see. Over the last month, up 28%, guys. That's 3 times the amount of the S&P. Over the 6 months, that's 34%. And then over the last year, guys, a whopping 656%. We cannot complain about it. But the big news really today is, look, Elon and Trump. The fight started again. Trump's threatening to put him to Doge, threatening to deport him. Elon's firing back, saying to follow through with his threats. Look, I'm just coming after a eVTOL weekly stream, and one of my guys, Mark Berry, said it really well on it. While the two kids at the table are fighting, Rocket Lab is the kid at the table eating their dinner. This could not be better for Rocket Lab. Chris, what are your thoughts on it? Elon, Trump fighting.
Again, I missed out on all the fun news today. I bet you guys were having a blast in the chats. Did Trump really threaten to deport Elon? Or man, it's like they're so childish. They're supposed to be the two of the most powerful people in the world, and my children have better respect for each other and just act a lot more responsible. Uh, they have way too much power, way too much control, and I don't really like any one person to have that much control or power. That's just me. But I do see the fact that if they're going to squabble, they're going to have issues. That could possibly cause problems with other companies that are directly tied into SpaceX as far as launch and their cadence and what Elon might be doing. So yeah, that's Rocket Lab's definitely going to be there to pick up the breadcrumbs, if not bigger.
Look, Chris, our philosophy has always been we will bring the community in, and whatever the community likes or does not like, we'll adhere to. So we have, where a lion is hungry, he eats, has said, please not Tesla. So with respect, I think we will move on from Tesla, and I do apologize for bringing Tesla up. That's my fault completely. And the question is, was the Russell 1000 last Friday or is it next Friday? It was last Friday, my guy. It officially got announced yesterday, was it? Then when Lion is hungry, it says Tesla's not SpaceX. Yeah, no, we were just talking about Tesla because we were talking about Elon himself. and we were tying it into SpaceX there. The only reason I brought Tesla up is because that is what has pulled down the whole market.
Yeah, to be fair, I'm a very big Tesla bull long term. I have been for a long time. I've bought and sold a few times. I can't afford to buy it now. It's a little high for me. But I do like the company. So, and I like Elon. I mean, I don't think that's a secret. I like Elon. But you have to be realistic about something like that comes out in the news. You got to be a little cautious. But yeah, I'm not worried about Tesla in the long term. I'm not. I like the company. I like what they're doing. I like the future of the company. I think they're going to do great things. They already have done great things. They'll continue to do great things. And this could just be a blip on the radar. They got in an argument a few weeks ago, and it seemed to go away within a day or two. And this could just be another thing that they're doing. It could just be a PR stunt. I mean, we don't know what they're talking about behind closed doors. We don't know these people. It's fun to speculate and have fun with, of course, but I mean, unless he actually tries to deport the guy or something crazy, I don't think Trump would ever do that. No, it's fun to joke about to a degree. I mean, it's not really. I guess joke is the wrong word, but you guys know what I mean. No, I'm not reading too much into it myself.
And then I'm going to bring up something here. Chris doesn't even know it's coming up, but I want to share. Okay, so big shout out to Vince. Vince is feeling a bit under the weather at the moment. He did get bees and he got stung 3 to 5 times on the ankle. Today he can't walk, swollen foot. Shout out to my guy. Hope you get well soon, mate. Great fun on eVTOL Weekly, and hope to speak to you again soon. Any words for Vince, Chris, before we get into the news?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you there now.
Okay. Yeah, my headset went out. I gotta change something. No, I hadn't seen that. And when you pulled that up just now, I was wondering if you caught Bigfoot. Wow, Vince, that doesn't look very fun, buddy. I hope you get better very soon. That can be quite painful. But you play with the sword, you get stuck by the sword. In this case, you're playing with bees, you're gonna get stung by bees, buddy. It's just part of the game. But yeah, happy healing. You've got like 15 kids to chase around, so you got to get the healing, pretty quick there, my friend. Sorry about that. It sucks.
And then, guys, another announcement. Vince will be coming onto the channel. We will be interviewing Vince. As I said before, completing the Infinity Stones. We've had all 4 boys. Great relationship with them, great friendship with them, and we hope that will grow going forward. We also have Space Investor coming on. You all know Space Investor from X. If you don't, make sure to follow him. Massive in the industry. But then, do you know what I was thinking, Chris? Do you know what would be a massive stream? If we could bring Man, Space Investor, and Matt all in one stream, that'd be wild, wouldn't it?
We've been very blessed to have some amazing people agree to come on here. Again, blessed to get invited on with Vince and the guys as well. Different combinations like that are going to be fun, especially moving forward, especially as different companies, continue to innovate. Again, we have all these different specialists that are great at what they do. And getting that insight is priceless. I mean, it's just priceless. I think that's one of the things that I love what we do here is that it's not about just me and you. We're bringing other people from the community. We say it all the time. We're not the specialists, but we know a bunch of them, and thankfully they've been very gracious enough to come on here and put up with the likes of me and my ridiculous antics. But they have fun, and that's we want them to have fun. These guys, they go through analytics and numbers, and they're getting asked all these questions all day long. So we kind of give them a chance to just lay back, but still do their own thing in a very fun, in a very fun way. So yeah, man, that'd be a fun lineup. If we can get them all on the same time. Of course, we're all in crazy time differences too. Especially when you're going from the West Coast to the East Coast and all the way out to Ireland. That can be a little tricky from time to time, but So far, everyone's been very generous as far as offering their time and making time for us. I'm looking forward to the next couple of guests. We've got a lot more fun heading our way the next couple of days.
No, definitely. And then I want to jump straight in. So I'm going to go back to the comments here, and then we're going to get into the news. So BTech says if the Trump and Elon spat continues, then it would be good for ASTS probably. It probably would, not going to lie. You have the direct competition of the likes of Starlink. We found out from Amperman there. I would like to ask Amperman a little bit more about Kuiper versus ASTS, just because I have a few more questions on that, but I can't wait to get them back on soon. Rocket Lab is dropping vids on YouTube. They are not new vids. Rocket Lab normally doesn't do that, so I think something is going on. I think there's something in the pipeline, you know. I have an article today that could open our eyes a little bit. Antihistamine, yes, my guy. And then Vince, if he wasn't so greedy, was a multi-millionaire. He's a good guy, good videos. We all love Vince, don't we, brother? Nobody has a crystal ball, but a good company you don't let go. 1:30 a.m. there, so you are an hour ahead of me. So where are you from? If Lane gets hungry, guys, look, open forum, jump into the comments, have a chat with us. Over the past few days, we have been feeling the side effects of going live every day for the past month. It is starting to take a toll. So the more help we get in the comments, the better. It does make us feel good. We came off that stream yesterday feeling great. But Mockbox shared. Rocket Lab have put up a job advertisement for a global head of AI. And he said a fun fact, Rocket Lab uses AI to review data and look for any anomalies following every Electron launch. Peter mentioned he has invited AI to be used across the company wherever possible in past interviews. Chris, Rocket Lab, AI, are we looking at new projects? What's your thoughts on Rocket Lab and AI?
My brain's not big enough for that. That's crazy. And I think we've kind of, we speculated in the past they're going to need some AI. I don't think it's going to be like, well, I can't say what I think it's going to be like because I really don't know enough. There's a lot of applications. I was actually looking into, what was that company? I'm sorry, guys. It's been a long day. My head is like, my brain is just pounding right now. And again, I missed all this. But there are probably almost limitless applications. Very interesting. I'd love to hear. I'm sure people in the chat can probably give a better, give better insight when it comes to the applications and possibilities with AI. Hopefully, it's not going to be just a big buzzword and a bunch of people just buy in it. When they announce it at earnings and then sell off, their run up or whatever. Because AI can be a big buzzword and then turn out to be a big nothing burger. But I'd be interested in what they're going to use it for, what the applications are, and what their future growth projections are going to be using AI. But yeah, I'd love to hear from people in the chat. Hey, Liam, I need 2 minutes here. My headset is about gone, so I'm going to jump off. In 2 minutes, I'll be right back.
100%. Yeah, I think the use of AI is multifaceted. It could be for the likes of launch. It could be to be more efficient across the whole business. It could be to use for the likes of financial reporting. It's just such a multifaceted space that I don't even want to begin speculating where we could see this going. BTech says they might use it to increase engine efficiency or just start scanning images. Could be anything. And you've actually got me on a thought there about engine efficiency. We haven't heard much more about the Archimedes engine since the hot fire. Do you think they're still tweaking the engine? Do you think they are fully happy with the final design of the Archimedes? Or do you think there's a little bit of pushback and in potential could delay a launch? When Lion is Hungry says, I was afraid a year ago for applications for RKLB, but meanwhile, Sir Peter Beck said he was not a problem in the country. Sorry for my English. No, that is completely fine. The proliferation of the whole space application, space system side of the business seems to just all be coming together this year with the acquisition of the likes of your Monarch, your Geos. It just feels like the whole business is starting to finally come to fruition. Look, we're still a long way to go. What will their consolation be? We've speculated before. I don't really want to get down that rabbit hole today. We do have a lot to get through, but yeah, do let me know. BTech says, I saw something that showed blue flames, etc., with no issues in the test. Okay. So Peter Beck already said that AI for several parts of their structure. Chris, have we got you back there, brother?
Yeah, I'm a lot better off now, thanks.
Oh, I'm after turning up your volume, and you are very loud. Wait a minute, 2 seconds. There you go. You should be all good now, my guy.
Is that better?
Then, yep, that's all good.
Okay,
Jumping across, Mockbox shared that RKLB have invited the shareholders to their annual meeting of the stockholders on Wednesday, August 27th, 25. It is beginning at 1:30 PDT, and it'll be through a webcast. Guys, we will be streaming this. You'll get live thoughts and reactions before and after the webcast. I can't wait for it. We probably will have the owners call before then, but look, anytime you get to hear Peter speak, you have to listen. What are your thoughts on the shareholder meeting, Chris? Like, we have 5 things they're going to discuss at it. Is to elect the 3 Class 1 director nominees named in the proximity statement, to ratify the appointment of Deloitte and Touche LLP as their independent registered public accountant, to approve a non-binding advisory basis the compensation of named executive officers, to approve an amendment to the amended and restated certificate of incorporated. Guys, look, it's a lot of jargon. We will be covering it. Chris, any thoughts on that?
It sounds like I'm going to fall asleep during that. Those are not the type of calls I really enjoy, but those are the most important, the ones we usually typically skip over, and then we miss a lot of really big information. The Rocket Lab is really good at kind of sneaking in, little tidbits of hints or, ideas of where they're going to be at and what they're looking to do moving forward. But as as an investor, it's extremely important to listen to these things and break them down and, obviously take them for face value, of course, but also at the same time, we always know Peter and Rocket Lab themselves are always really good at just not telling us anything, but giving us some really good hints, some clues to follow, per se. A lot of times it has us chasing down some crazy rabbit holes that leads nowhere. And then sometimes we look at stuff and in hindsight, we look back and go, hey, they were dropping clues months ago about this and this and this. Like with Flatellite. I mean, there were dropping clues about Flatellite months ahead. But it's always the small things you miss. So hopefully we don't miss too many small things, and hopefully we have a way to have some fun during what can be a very, I hate to say boring, but it's just not my thing. As far as some of the stuff they're going to cover. I know that people in chats are going to roast me for that. Some people live for that stuff. Usually I'll sleep through it and I'll just ask, hey Francisco, give me the cheat sheet. What's the easy stuff? And because he's great at that kind of stuff, he'll peel right through that. So I don't know. We might want to have somebody on for that. We'll have to talk about that when we get off here later. Kind of plan it out. We've got quite a few guests we want to get back on anyway, and Liam and I have not had the time to talk. I've been crazy busy the last few days, so we want to get things scheduled out and more planned out, and hopefully actually give you guys more of a schedule so you know when people are coming on, and when what day and time and all that, and give you guys a little bit of a heads up. But right now it's just it's just everything we can do to keep up. Like I said before, we started this daily, and we're like, what are we going to talk about every day? We can't. We just it's just too much. I mean, space is massive. Um, so yeah, maybe we'll have somebody on. I don't know. We'll talk about it later, later, Liam.
Yeah. And then, do you know what? You actually touched on a massive point there. We need to get Francisco on ASAP because he has a big thesis about flatterlight, and I would really like to discuss that with him here. And then, guys, yeah, jump into the comments. Let me know what guest do you want on, what guest do you want back on, who do you want us to reach out to? Look, no name's too big. We will try our best to get everyone. Don't say Elon or someone like that. Peter, we will try and get. Trust me, I have no doubt about it. We will try and get Peter. But yeah, whether it's Rocket Lab, whether it's anyone in the space industry, we could reach out to some Redwire guys, Black Sky guys. Whatever you want to see, you steer the channel. This is your channel. This is not our channel.
We've got a pretty special guest coming on that I'm sure absolutely everybody knows who he is. He's asked to come on, and we're going to make that happen really soon. I'm not sure exactly when, but very soon. Space investors himself, ladies and gentlemen. He will be joining our crazy butts here live, and he'll be the voice of reason as always, and we'll be, the village idiots and asking all the crazy questions. But that will be a fun interview. Very much looking forward to that one.
This is a very interesting one. You should search for a Rocket Lab bear, the bulls you already have. Right. We're calling out any Rocket Lab bear. We need them on. I think that now would be gold. A debate on Rocket Lab, bull versus bears. Guys, would you tune in for that? Should I go searching, or look, could you care less? Do let me know. But getting on to some other news, Chris. Rocket Lab successfully completes critical design review for SDA's T2TL beta constellation. So they will deliver the constellation of 18 satellites for the Space Development Agency's Tranche 2 Transport Layer Beta program, which is a foundational component of the proliferated warfighter space architecture. Another tick the box exercise, Chris, or is this
that was announced today too? Holy crap, man! Look what happens when you're actually responsible when you go to work. You miss out on all the fun stuff. So that happened today too. Holy crap! That's probably one of my man. See, my phone was going off all day long. I just put it down, walked away from it. I had to. Now I understand. Yeah, that's no small thing. That is no small thing. We knew it was pretty big when they first started talking about it. This is just one rung on the ladder. This thing is going to take us to all crazy heights. I really believe that this is just the beginning when it comes to this. That's awesome. I'm not going to get to sleep until midnight tonight because I'm going to be going back and looking at all the stuff that I missed today. And thanks again, everyone, for all the messages. That's how I keep up to date. Sorry I'm behind today. I know I'm always a little bit slow and, kind of retarded on here, but I'm definitely way behind today. So this is all brand new to me. Like, as Liam is showing it to me, it's the first time I've seen it. Man, yeah, I don't have anything really intelligent to say other than awesome, for just lack of a lot of better words. It's another one I got to get into. Thankfully, again, we have great people in the chats who have been looking at this all day and can probably give us a bit more insight as well. We always go to the chats. We love you guys. We always want to bring you guys in. As Liam said, without you guys, we're nothing anyway. This is what it's all about as a community. So I might have a long day at work and I miss out on stuff, but luckily I've got people like you that I can come home, look at the messages, and go, all right, I'm right back up to where I need to be at, right up to speed. So man, that's just awesome. Is it the last of the news? Because there's too much more, man. I don't,
No, there's quite a
I'm
bit more.
guessing you probably have a lot more, don't you?
Yeah, and then the one thing that did really catch my eye in this that I didn't properly know previously was this last line here. Rocket Lab's spacecraft for the T2 TL Beta program is based on the Hyperform's Lightning platform. So the space bus is Lightning, and it's tailored for the power and data handling demands of the national security low Earth orbit constellations. So that was one thing I did learn from that, was that the space bus that's going carrying it is Lightning. Then going across, Wallops Vantage does it again. So we can see, to go along with the Electron TE at Wallops, it was vertical the other day. This could be the teams prepping the pad for a wet dress rehearsal and launch in the coming days. And the possible launch on July 11th is going to be at 7:45 EST. And hopefully this will be the first Haste Electron launch of the year from Wallops. You're a big Haste bull, Chris. Do you think it's going to be Haste, or do you just think it's going to be an average Electron? Or do you think it's going to happen at all?
It depends on how he got the information. Because either way, so let's say if it's like, because you can look at stuff, from like, well, you can't really look at the Navy. That's wrong, but you can kind of tell. If you live around here, you can kind of tell. Haste is something that's different than Electron. It's more usually classified, so the U.S. Navy gets involved more often than not. If it's Electron, it's usually the Coast Guard. So it depends on where he's getting his information, because Wallace does a great job, but it's not like you can just go to the visitor center and get a checklist and they go, oh yeah, by the way, in case you didn't know, this is the next launch. It's not that easy. So it depends on where the information comes from. If it's some sort of announcement or release from the Coast Guard as far as maneuvers, which is a good little sneaky way of finding out when another launch is going to be. And it's not always Rocket Lab, but if they're already doing getting stuff from the stand, basically preparing for a wet dress rehearsal, I would tend to think it's an Electron myself. That's just me, but we're overdue for a Haste. It could be, I'm not going to say it's definitely Electron. It really, to me, depends on how he acquired the date and the times and everything, or the suggested date and times, because the Coast Guard will release stuff like that from time. Usually, not always, but you can find it if you're looking hard enough. So I guess that would depend on where that information came from.
And then BTEC says the bear case is Neutron failing launch, and then the next. Yeah, do you know what, guys? Who wants this Rocket Lab bear debate? Look, if I can find a bear, I know Dave G tried to find a bear before. He found it very hard. I'll try my hardest to find one. I don't want someone sort of sitting on the fence and has never heard of them. I want someone that genuinely has a bear case against Rocket Lab. That'd be exciting. I'm not just bringing on someone that just don't invest in them.
I can be a bear. I can be the biggest bear in the world, and you guys would hate me. You guys will like, unfollow that fool right now. I hate Chris. I don't like anything he's going to say. And in all seriousness, no. You guys know I'm a massive bull, but as an investor, you always need to go back and look at the bear case and do it honestly. Be honest with yourself. The more honest with yourself you are, the better investor you're going to be. If you're going to lie to yourself constantly, go, oh no, that'll never happen. Murphy's Law, man. Anything's possible. So it's important as an investor to know the bear case, so that you know what to look for if things do start going south. I wouldn't enjoy being the bear, but if that's what has to happen, yeah, I could be the bear, man. Why not? I think we can probably find us one if we look hard enough. What I don't want to do, though, is I don't want to bring on like an ASDS guy that's like super bullish on ASTS and like super bearish against Rocket Lab, because it's just going to turn into a ASTS and Rocket Lab debate, and it doesn't help anybody. That doesn't really help anybody. It'd be great to have someone on here that's open-minded, that comes in, with some great facts. Honestly, Ampan Man might be a great person for something like that, because he's very smart and he's not going to just browbeat and be super opinionated about it. He's actually going to give a very intelligent response. We talked to him just the other day, and I asked him a few questions that would, what would it take for him to actually want to actually start investing in Rocket Lab? And I was interested to hear that he didn't have a lot of negative things to say, but he did have some interesting insight on, things that did bother him about the company, and he wasn't exactly wrong. And he's not ill-informed. The guy knows his stuff, but he might be a possibility, and he might be willing to do it. And he's a kind, gentle soul, and he's not going to, beat Chris into the ground or beat Liam in the ground. He'll be nice to us. And we want a fun debate. We want an educated debate. We don't want an argument. I'm not going to do that live. I'm just not going to get an argument with somebody that does not help anyone. But we could have fun with it.
Now, I don't know what way we want the show to go. Guys, you're going to have to let me know. Do you want the rest of the news, or if I read out this next comment, because Chris cannot read the comments. If I read out this next comment, I'm about to turn on Haste Chris, and the rest of the show is just going to be about Haste. So, guys, let me know. And when a lion is hungry, he speaks. If I do read out that comment, you're going to realize Chris knows an awful lot about Haste, not just the Navy. SDA's next phase of data transport satellites are now on hold. That's the next thing that's came up. So the long-term future of one of the SDA's 2 satellite constellation is on hold, as the officials study the options for replacing the planned data transport layer. Now, this is all to do with Trump's proposed 2026 defense budget zeroing out funding for future tranches of satellites. Does that worry you with the likes of Rocket Lab, or are you sort of, look, contracts already signed, we're going to get the money for that, we don't have to worry about future?
You know what, with the current administration, politics aside, they're looking at doing massive cuts because they want to put up, they're trying to find money for the Golden Dome. I'll say this, and I know I don't have any receipts for this, but just gut feeling. If they were to delay something like this or take this away from Rocket Lab, then I would assume that they would just give them something back in return. So that, look, like it or not, there's not a lot of people out there that can launch what, the Trump administration wants to do in the next 3 years. There are just very few options. Blue Origin, as much money as they have, they're not as successful as Rocket Lab. Not by far. SpaceX is obviously the number 1 choice, but we saw, the bickering and everything else like that. But yeah, I don't think you're just going to take away a big contract like that and just say, hey, too bad for you. Oh, by the way, can you please continue your Haste program for us, and please continue to give us these discounts, and please continue to do all these things, but we're going to continue to take away your contracts. That's not how things work in the government. Yeah, things can get cut or delayed, but I can talk about this to just bore you to the paint starts peeling off the ceiling. I could see it. Yeah, it might hurt the stock short term. No, they're so far into it. It would not be good, at least in the short term. But again, if they took something away, I believe they give them something back. If it was that just completely just wiped out and said, we're not doing this, I believe in my heart of hearts, I believe they'd be getting something back, because they're going to want Rocket Lab in the future. They're going to need Rocket Lab in the future, especially when Neutron gets on the pad and is proven to be successful.
And then I want to show something so I can see the comments starting to heat up a little bit. I just want to get into this last bit and then I'll get back to the comments there. So the USS seeks industry ideas for space-based interceptors, and this comes from Francisco again. So this would be to intercept hypersonic and ballistic track and space sensor systems. Chris, is this another avenue Rocket Lab can dive down? Would this benefit the Haste program? Could you see Rocket Lab entering that space, intercepting?
I guess technically it would be defense, right?
Yeah.
Technically, it's the first rule of thumb with anything when it comes to military is that Beck is you're just not going to pay him enough money to where he's going to do something offensive. You know, attack somebody, use his technology to possibly hurt anyone. But if it's to defend us and defend freedom and humankind, then yes. And right now, the only people that has outside of Kratos and stuff like that, and outside of America that has a hypersonic program is China. And the Haste rocket is very comparable as far as speed. The fact that Rocket Lab is leading the industry right now when it comes to an actual working hypersonic rocket that can actually function and is still 100% successful. That is definitely something they can get more into. And it's just a positive. They're seeing more and more needs for these things where they're it's because a lot of other countries are getting into it, and so the U.S. is going to have to at least keep up pace. And considering the fact that Rocket Lab is pretty much the only one in the U.S. doing it, I would have to be really talked out of thinking was a lot of good reasons why that wouldn't have some impact. I mean, Haste is, I told you guys from the beginning, I've said it for months now, it's a massive project, and there's so many different possibilities with the Haste program. I honestly believe that in a couple of years, if they really wanted to, they could just separate Haste off and just make it just this is the military aspect of Rocket Lab. It's kind of its own entity, because Peter Beck is more interested in science and space exploration. The Haste program has its own COO that oversees the majority of it. Yeah, that could be. Again, guys, I'm sorry. This is the first time me looking at this, so I've had really no time. You're actually seeing how my brain works in real time, and you're like, this guy's an idiot. He goes back and forth. Well, I'm just now reading it, so I'm thinking out loud, which can be dangerous sometimes when you're live on YouTube. Believe me, I get the comments, and I get it sometimes. Very deserving, I guess. But I think it's just one more example of what possibilities are out there because of having a program like Haste.
Thank you so much for that, Chris. And then, guys, I just want to say, without the community, we are nothing. Genuine. And that's why I've included that now in our intro. And guys, 42% of you who watch us every single day have not subscribed. Make sure to bang that subscribe button. Not only to show your support to me and Chris. Look, me and Chris constantly look at the analytics. We're constantly assessing, do people enjoy it? Do people not enjoy it? We are starting to find it hard at the moment doing this content creation every single day. If we don't see a want for content, we will cease doing that. So guys, please show some love. Then jumping back to the comments there. So where did we end? When a lion is hungry, says, on the board is now a directive from Lockheed Martin. It is known that Rocket Lab and Lockheed has some good bonds. It'd be good ASTS against Rocket Lab. Why is ASTS price more? We can pitch that to some of the ASTS boys, but I don't think anyone really wants to get into a debate on ASTS Rocket Lab. Maybe, I don't know. Any hidden gems that could benefit from Haste? My Rocket Lab and Kratos positions are based on the Golden Dome potential, wondering on auxiliary or supplemental supply chains or support positions. I genuinely think a support position of something like Haste could be Redwire's edge autonomy drones. Rocket Lab don't have the ability at the moment for, and I don't even know if I could see it in the near future, aerospace drones. So you could see a partnership with the likes of Redwire, but that is just me thinking off the top of my head. Have you any thoughts on that? Any hidden gems, Chris?
Support positions. Here's one of the advantages of Haste is, I mean, you guys have seen the launch pad for Electron. It is not exactly the largest thing in the world. It's not exactly the most complex thing in the world in comparison to something like a Falcon 9 or, ULA or something like that when it comes to launch. And they have it down to a science. Everything from the rocket design itself to the structural support systems that go around it doesn't take up a lot of space. So if you're, say, you're in the EU and you have a very small space program, very easy to integrate a Haste program. Very easy, very cost effective, especially since you're not the one that's having to do all the research, all the development, learning, everything, something as basic as, what's the right way of launching this vehicle. Rocket Lab is very unique, and the launching mechanisms with those size rockets. I've said this for a long time, and it feels good to be kind of proven right now after all these months and actually over a year. We're seeing Haste being used in other countries, not just in the U.S. Other countries are seeing the potential, and like I said before, whether they're buying Rocket Lab rockets and launching Haste, or they're just buying their components, or they're buying their technology, the opportunity is massive. Again, we've already seen them move into other countries: UK, EU, Australia. I've said before they're going to be in Japan. They got laughed at. Well, I guess what? They're probably going to be in Japan very soon, as long as a lot of other allied South Pacific nations, especially Taiwan. Taiwan, I mean, it's a no-brainer. And again, New Zealand, they're ramping up as well. So, yeah, when it comes to that, I think we're still early. Like, we're still early on most of what Rocket Lab is going to do in the next 5 or 10 years. Haste is a test program. It might just be for, a test program that's short-lived. They're just using to gather data and gather knowledge, and they're going to grow from that somehow. But at least for right now, in the near future, the next 3 to 5 years, it's going to be a really big moneymaker for the company. And I think we're going to see more and more Haste launches, especially with a partnership like a Kratos. They have amazing products. They do amazing things, but they're not launching. You got to have that launch partner, and they've partnered up with Rocket Lab. And I think we're going to see more partnerships evolve, whether it's a European nation or it's just another company like a Kratos. I think we're going to see more and more of that as we move forward, and as that need for hypersonics is becoming more and more evident and more of a reality.
And you kind of touched on something there that I want to show again. So the introduction of EU Space Act marks the start of the debate on regulations. Now, I haven't properly dived into what the Space Act is, and I will do a bit of research on it. I'll come back to you tomorrow on it. But this has only given me confidence with the likes of that deal Rocket Lab have completed with the ESA. Look, at the moment, it's a 1 launch, 2 satellites in a 10 satellite constellation. Speaking to Francisco, the aim is to upscale it to 310 satellites in that constellation. All I'm thinking here is the longer it takes for them to debate the regulations in the EU, that gives, they need a launch partner that will put up these satellites. So it's better for Rocket Lab. No competition there. Any thoughts on that, Chris?
I agree 100%. I agree 100%. And even when the regulations, so I mean, look, let's be realistic. They have 22 plus partners when you count in Canada, and it's a tax shared kind of a program. So one country puts in 5%, they get a 5% return on whatever it is. Might be 22 countries, but not everybody's putting in a whole, crazy. They're having to take 22 countries just to put together a space program. So there's not a lot of money going into it. So it tells me they're not really looking to. They're going to try to do as much as they can and spend as little as possible. That has Rocket Lab written all over it, all day long. So whether it's them utilizing their rockets or they're just utilizing all their space system technology, I think we're going to see a lot more partnerships with Rocket Lab, a lot more contracts with Rocket Lab. And again, sometimes we may see something soon in the future where it seems kind of small. It's only a $1.3 million contract or whatever that could possibly turn into something bigger. We see it happen now in the U.S. Quite often. I think it would be in both, not just Rocket Lab's benefit, obviously, but it'd be smart. It would really be smart. I mean, again, do you want to go out and spend billions of dollars trying to, design, come up with, and build all this? You're trying to reinvent the wheel, and there's a company on the street that's got the best wheels in the business. It's a lot easier just to, partner with them. That's just, that's my uneducated opinion, but I'm not a rocket science guy, and I'm not a finance guy. But if it's me, I'm not spending billions of dollars. I'm paying back, and I'm getting a discount, and I'm getting heredity. If I put it on here, odds are it's going to make it. If I spend billions of dollars and I build out a program and we launch and it blows up or goes sideways, we're not getting anywhere. Now we're 5 more years behind. We got to start back over. It just doesn't make sense.
And then when a lion is hungry says, if Neutron launches, what do you think governments will do? And Haste is Sony Rocket Lab. So in regards to Neutron, it's looking quite good at the moment with Elon's and Trump's relationship going up in tatters. Look, there'll still be competition out there. There'll still be the likes of your Blue Origin, your ULA. But no, I could see massive contract. I just think the monopoly is going to get broken up now. You will see a little bit of pushback from both sides. I don't think even Elon will want to be working for that administration as much as he has been so far. But what are your thoughts, Chris?
Well, it's not if Neutron launches, it's all about when Neutron launches, and that's going to make a big difference on some of these government contracts. It's going to make a difference on a lot of things. So it's not so much if, it's when. And I have full confidence in Peter Beck. These guys know what they're doing. They're definitely going to make a lot of headway in the market. And I mean, if you really look at this Neutron, man, they've thought this thing through. They really have. I mean, they're hitting a home run with this freaking rocket. And when this thing is actually going up, and I saw somebody a day or two ago that said, yeah, well, they're only contracted for, or saying they're only going to do 2 launches in 2026. Well, they don't even have a rocket on the pad yet, and they're already getting contracts. You're looking at it completely the wrong way. Once they have everything worked out, all the kinks are out of the way, and they're successful and they're able to launch, this contract's going to start rolling in. So, yeah, it might be a little slow ramp up at the beginning, 1 or 2 this year, or in 2026. I don't think that's going to be the case in 2027. I just don't. I don't have any receipts. I don't have any proof of that, but with everything ramping up, especially the Golden Dome, and space is growing exponentially every day. It's just growing massively. People need these launches. They need these rockets, and not every company is going to go out there and build their own rocket. Again, why would they when they have someone that can just do it for them cheaper? So I see Neutron being a lot bigger. I don't really see it affecting Haste. Haste is it's a different beast. It's a completely different beast. It has different uses, different capabilities. I think we're going to see Haste again, at least the next 3 to 5 years. After that, it's anyone's guess. But I think we're going to see a ramp up in Haste as well, in my opinion, especially going into 2027, 28. I think we'll see a very large jump in cadence.
And then VastCNC says Kratos CEO was on Drone Podcast talking about the potential of hypersonics. Rocket Lab to Kratos to drones could be a cluster of swarm munitions anywhere in the globe. True, and that's sort of why I've tied in Redwire into that too, mate. And then launch platforms inside of launch platforms. Then Kratos Rocket Lab have some entanglements. They have more than some. They've quite a vast relationship. And then why do Americans always think Rocket Lab is from USA? It is New Zealand. That is why, out of politeness and strategic, they also put USA flag.
We only say that because they've registered, as a U.S. company. Believe me, as an American, I always think of them as a New Zealand company. I just do. I mean, it's awesome. They have headquarters and a lot of stuff here. I live in Virginia. I'm 4 hours from Wallops. I'm super excited about it. But to me, it's always going to be Peter Beck and a New Zealand company. I've backpacked in Europe a few times, and my favorite people in the world were always Kiwis. They're always the nicest. They were the people that I hung out with in the pubs. It helped that they spoke English. You're in a foreign country, and not a lot of people want to speak to you if you're an American. But I love the Kiwis. I think you guys are great. I've got a lot of people on X that I follow. I don't know if you guys know Mark Hubbard, but he's been a big supporter from day one when I had no followers. He's always been very supportive. So shout out to Mark. Thank you. I'm still going to sell you a water feature, Mark. I know that you have amazing views. You're on the water, but if I can sell in Virginia Beach, buddy, I can sell one to you. And yes, I'll fly to New Zealand and put one in for you. But you got to cook. The dude can cook, man. The guy, you got to follow him. He's a very interesting person. A lot of fun, but yeah, no, love my Kiwis, and it's always going to be a New Zealand company to me.
Then, Rocket Lab has several contacts with EU and send several for Europe. I don't really understand. They have several contracts, are you saying, with the EU? And please come back to me and rephrase it. And then, so Peter Beck first said test launch 25, then 2 launches 26, then 3 launches 27. Changed it to test launch 2025 with payload and 3 launches in 2026. Chris, that's the ever-growing debate. Do you think we will have a test launch this year?
Oh man, you guys are gonna kill me. You guys are gonna kill me. All right, so I think it was Tran might have posted this a few months ago, and they're basically getting approval, going through regulations for their proposed flight plan. Could be wrong, but I think they're planning for a splashdown somewhere in this Brazil, kind of southern part of the Atlantic or Pacific. I can't remember what side. Don't sue me, bro. But I just have a hard time thinking they wouldn't, like, we were joking around, and I think we all know that Peter Beck was he like building dishwashers when he first started off or something like that. It'd be funny if he just launched a dishwasher and put that into orbit or something just absolutely stupid and ridiculous like that. Nothing's going to cost any money and take any large risk, but I think it'd be fun if they just did something just totally random. And we say all the time, man, if your goal is to get to the moon, shoot for the stars. Beck is the same way. That's why he tests things and tests things and tests them until they actually blow up. And he goes, okay, we dial it back a little bit. We're golden. I think it'd be fun. I mean, I'm not expecting it, but I have a hard time thinking they're not going to try and pull off something a little bit extra. Just to kind of push the envelope a little bit, and see just how much data they can gather, obviously. But I am expecting a mostly successful launch. I just do. And I don't have any reason to think that other than the fact that it has well, I do have a lot of reason to think that they're doing a lot of testing. I mean, they're testing and testing and testing. They're testing as if NASA was testing it and spending billions of dollars, but yet they're not spending, crazy amounts of money, but they're still putting it through the tester. And I think they're going to improve on the odds of success and reduce the odds of failure. And if there is a failure, I would expect it to be something that would not be something massive like, oh, we got to, redesign the entire engine, or, our carbon composite is all wrong, or something ridiculous like that. It's going to be, there's going to be some tweaking. I mean, it's a brand new rocket, but I'm kind of expecting some success on that one. I really am.
Guys, we've had a bit of a quiet crowd today. I can see quite a few of you live there. If you have any thoughts on whether you want us to bring on a RKLB, please let me know. If not, what we'll do, we'll continue forward with our guests. We do have a lineup this week. We have, I'm going to keep some of them secret. Space Investors, a really big one. I then proposed the project, why don't we get Space Investor, Ampan Man, and Matt all on one stream? I actually think that would be insane. But look, this is the community's project. This is not mine and Chris's project. There's loads of things I would like to do, and there's loads of things Chris would like to do, but let the community decide. Guys, who would you want us to interview? It can be the whole space industry, it can be Redwire Space, it can be Black Sky. Please do let us know. Then, several satellites are sent for the EU, this for official EU and also for EU countries like France. The thing is, why was Sir Peter Beck first was so conscious, launch without payload, then next year 2, then next year 3, suddenly one launch with payload? But I think with the GEOST acquisition now, it won't cost them as much to put a payload on it, will it? Are you gonna? Are they contracted on the first launch to launch with someone else's payload?
Negatory. That's a big negative. They're not contracted on the first launch unless something happened in the last 48 hours that no one told me about. Currently, they're not contracted to launch anything. They're not planning on launching anything. It's not, it's never been announced. Again, I was just speculating. I mean, they can put a freaking toaster in space. I think it'd be fun. Just look, trying to have fun here. I mean, we can. There's a lot of chats you get in to be super freaking detailed and number serious and just bore the hell out of me. It's more laid back here. It's way more laid back. Answer as many possible questions as we can, and I love the questions. I really do. As far as launch cadence and when they're going to launch a payload and what, I don't even really know if they know 100% until that rocket is on the pad and they're successful with that. Once that happens, then we can start speculating more on when is the first payload going to be launched. Is there going to be a ramp up? Look, once that thing is actually launched and it's successful, God forbid, let's just say for all the stars align, right? Everything's perfect, and that thing launches perfectly the first time. That launch cadence is going to change almost within 24 to 48 hours. Beck is going to be getting phone calls from all over the world.
I've just realized something.
I'm just not going to worry too much about that, because all that can change. It can all change. They could have a big, explosion, have a big issue. People cancel contracts, and then those 3 go down to nothing. I mean, it's fun to talk about it. We can speculate about it, but it's not something I'm going to sit there and make a decision as far as my stock purchases on yes or no. I personally think once they are successful, we're going to see a massive ramp up. I think Peter's always going to tell you, hey, he's going to under promise and try and over deliver. He has from day one. He always does. That's his goal most of the time. And so if Peter Beck says, yeah, we're shooting for 2 launches in 2026, in the back of his mind, he wants 5 or 6, and he's going to do everything he can to hit that number. But he can't come out there and say that, live, and, because it's a public company, I mean, you can't come out and say, oh, yeah, well, we're hoping for 7 launches. In his mind, he might be hoping for 7 launches, but in reality, he's thinking, oh, yeah, this is what, is more realistic. He can't, they can't come out and say but so much. So yeah, I don't look too much into that aspect of it. I just saw, I can't read the comment, but I can see that Jacob Keating's on here. Hey Jacob,
actually
I
made
can't.
me shit myself, not gonna lie, yeah, because look, it's 1 a.m. here, and I looked down and it was Wednesday, and I was like, what time is that? That's 8 p.m. Eastern time. And then I was like, are we running live at the same time I meant to be live, but no, I've realized it's 8 p.m. It's Tuesday for you over there, so no, we're all good. Guys,
Yeah,
if you don't know what I'm on
it's still Tuesday. It's still Tuesday. But hey, since Jacob did pop in here, guys, if you don't already know, Wednesday nights, 8 o'clock, live on X Spaces, they're going to have on one of my heroes, Ashley Vance, tomorrow night.
I cannot wait for that.
I cannot wait. Man, Jacob, you guys are going to have a blast. I know you're going to have some amazing questions. I'm so looking forward to the interview. So please, guys, if you don't follow Jacob, follow him right now. Make sure that you guys get a chance to get in the Spaces tomorrow. It's going to be a lot of fun, a whole lot of fun. Those guys are great at what they're doing. Even if it's not tomorrow night, every Wednesday night, 8 o'clock. They have on all kinds of different guests themselves. What they do is amazing. A lot of people that we've had on live, like Ampan Man, Stock Meetups, Francisco, Johnny Mac, Brett Krieger. He's one of the hosts on there. The guys, he doesn't have time, but he makes time for that. That's one of the few chances. Yeah, it's a few chances you get to actually get Brett on there and actually ask him some questions. And of course, I'm asking about you ate any good donuts lately, or always ask the dumb questions. But he's my friend; I can do that. But yeah, guys, tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, every Wednesday, 8 o'clock. Please do join in with those guys; they're amazing.
And then Jake says they didn't say they would launch. That would not be a customer payload. But why first 1, 2, 3, then 1, 2, 3, 5? Maybe some new space systems tests. You're gonna have to give me a source on that. I don't remember them saying 1, 2, 3. They've always said they would model the electron cadence. When Lions Hungry says it'll be massive if Neutron goes well, it's already in production. Big love, Jacob. You're all building this up. I might have to write some stuff on it. And then he loves Johnny. Do you know what, Chris? I'm telling you.
I love Johnny too. I love Johnny too. I love Jacob. I love all these guys, man. They've helped me so much in my investment journey. They've also become really good friends. And, we're human. Sometimes we have down days. And it's almost like they just know just the right thing to say. Just the right thing to say. So thank you guys. Definitely much love to both of you. I can't wait for the party. I can't wait to actually get you guys out there. And we're doing this in person. It's gonna be funny because none of us are gonna shut up. We're all gonna try and talk at the same time. That's how it's gonna be. It's just gonna be a lot of quacking ducks, quack, 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 rocket lab, rocket lab, rocket lab. But we're gonna have a blast. Very much looking forward to
that. Jacob says, "Get some sleep, Liam and Chris. Stay cool." And you know what? My name's Liam. I am on the Hot Bros here. If you have enjoyed our daily project, look, we initially started this project to be 30 days long. Tomorrow is day 30. Guys, do you want it to continue? Please do let me know in the comments. Chris, until tomorrow, big guests lined up all week. I'm so excited. Jacob, actually DM us. Do you want to come on this week? That'd be quite exciting. Jacob never needs an invite. That's why we don't announce Jacob, because do you know what? Jacob's one of us. We love him. Guys, yeah, until tomorrow.
Thanks, everyone.